walking and you just keep the stretch in the distance. The third is you drop the hip, stretch the spine every now and then, you shunt while you're walking and your partner's not expecting it. The fourth is you synchronize those two. So as your partner goes to feed, they signal to you while you're walking them down the room, I'm about to feed you, and then you do a synchronized pulse. And then the fifth part is that you do that fifth pulse without the walk. So as soon as you do the issue, you stop, and you do the issue without any continuity of walking until you walk without walking. It's the same feeling as if you're walking down the room, but you pulse and you let the energy continue to move, you let the mind continue to move, as if you're walking right through them, even though your physical body is staying on the spot. So you end up in a place where you're doing Fajin through all these stages. Now, the next step in that is getting sensitive to parts of the body that you're picking up within your partner and the parts of the body that you're not picking up. So when a person's feeding, they give you their whole body. But let's say they're not feeding with their whole body and they're pulling away a little bit, or they're only giving half of the body and there's parts of them that are missing. So what you've got to do is put your consciousness in those areas and fill those areas energetically as you issue. Now you have this idea of covering your partner with energy and then hit the whole body as a whole. You have an idea in some lineages of seizing the whole body, and then you issue into the seize. You don't really issue into them, you issue into your grip that you have on them when you bounce the person. So there's ways of just filling the gaps with your energy hitting their energy so you can pick everything up. If a person is exceptionally jelly body, you can't bounce them. There's nothing to bounce. If a person's got tension, it gets easier and easier and easier. And if their mental space is open, you can put energy through them even easier again. So this next exercise, when you touch your partner, I want you to stretch through them and see what parts of their body you're not catching. So if I can borrow your Pete. So my partner puts a little bit of force, I'll go on a diagonal so the camera can pick up. Now he presses in. Let's say I go to bounce him and he pulls his elbows away. Oh, I didn't get him because his elbows aren't there. So my mind and the path I'm using is elbow dependent. But if I go under the elbows onto the hip and through there, now my energy is hitting there first and it's bypassing this part of his body. If I always think in a linear way of going boom, 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 and I'm picking him up and issuing, I'll be dependent on that. So if your training partner is quite open, wherever you put your energy, that's where it's going to go. So you'll find you've already got your bell curve of all the training partners you've had in the room, and you'll find the people that you can say, oh, I'm going to connect to below his hip, or I'm going to connect to above his scapula, or I'm going to connect under and across on a diagonal. Wherever the mind goes, the energy goes. The more open the person is, the easier it is for you to train that method. So as I touch my partner, want to send energy, the first thing I want to do is, where do I want it to go? I can send it as a wave, like we've been doing, or I can send it as a field. Now the field is that I want to feel as much of his body as I can, and then put energy everywhere at the same time into my partner. If I do it as a wave, we're going to get this effect. And it's going to wave, field, that effect. And it's my mind is changing the target. I'm not stopping at the points of tension going, I have to pick that up. I just feel more of his body and I send more energy to more of his body to get the field effect. And I just call it a field because that's the only word I can think of that kind of emulates the idea. A wave is linear and a field is everywhere at the same time. So we touch our partner, we feel more of their body, you feel the base, feel the back, and then you open the energy up in that entire space, as much of that space as you can. So if, let's say he's really jelly body, and I try wave, that's not going to work, but field, I can find a gap, and that gap was that empty corner. So I picked up, and I just put more energy in the weakness, and I ignored the places that I couldn't catch. So every time you touch your partner, feel as much as you can, expand your mind into as much as you can, and then feel the energy into your partner with as much as you can. Now for the receiver, I mean, he can neutralize me, pull his awareness back into a center and go, no, you can't affect me. Then he wouldn't be a good training partner. I'd never ask him to train again. So I'd be like, who else is there to train with? And that'll happen between now and the end of the workshop, where some people are like, oh, I just can't make it work on them. You're not going to walk up to them and ask them to train with them again, because you can't figure out how to work with that person. But if you train with someone that, I can do it on this person, you'll just naturally gravitate towards working with partners that you have synchronicity with. So if you open up a little bit for your partner, you'll get lots of training partners, but the most important thing is you'll figure it out. A closed mind cannot understand internals, only an open mind can. Only an open mind can feed correctly. So you've got to open your space, open your awareness, and then through that open space, do the exercises. What happens is you learn how to be immune to all this very quickly if you're open. So you quickly realize that if I pull all this energy back to my core and close, internals don't work. The only thing that's going to work is the power that person has in electricity in his punch to knock me out. But all the bouncing stuff gets neutralized by being open, because you know the more open you are, the more easy you are to influence, the more closed you are, the harder it is for anyone to influence you. So you train both ends of the spectrum at the same time. You know what immunity is, and you know what makes you vulnerable. Psychics are extremely vulnerable. People who are very sensitive, it's like a double-edged blade. They feel things, and those things can affect them. And people who are very closed, they feel less, but nothing affects them. So you have to trust your partner, open yourself up while you're training, and then close all the doors afterwards. So within my personal practice, there's a time to be exceptionally open, and there's a time to be exceptionally closed. You're not open all the time. It's not healthy. You'll lose too much energy. All right, so back to the exercise. You touch your partner, and you feel his structure. So let's say I'm touching here, and I go, I can't feel his hips and back. Walk around your partner, feel the hips and back. Okay, I physically touch that. There it is, now I can feel it. My mind just got a reference point to tune into it. And you can go down onto the inside and outside of the knees, wherever you need to feel, and then extend the energy through as much of your partner's body as you can. All you're doing, opening the joints, sending life force and awareness out, same as doing Fajin, same as Qigong, just getting the energy to move and connect to whatever parts of the body you're aware of. Define the difference between a wave, a linear path, and a field where you touch everything at the same time and open the energy up in a larger space. You're not trying to bounce your partner. All you're trying to do is get energy to enter your partner and affect him so you can learn. It's a learning process. And then you can build the volume of energy up and up and up to create martial effects or healing effects or whatever your path is. Everyone understand? Any questions, please ask. Okay, partner up. Thank you. Yes.